Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the world of data science. Now, it's a field that's full of buzzwords, but what does a data scientist actually do all day? Let's break down that whole journey, from raw, messy numbers to real, actionable insight.
So you've definitely heard this phrase before, right? Data is the new oil. But it's so much more than just a catchy line for a tech conference. It really points to a huge shift in how we create value in the world today.
And believe me, we are dealing with a truly colossal amount of raw material here. By 2025, it's predicted the world will be generating over 180 zettabytes of data. That is 180 with 21 zeros after it. Just think of that. This massive digital pile is our new crude oil.
And this is the crucial part. Raw data, just like crude oil, is rarely useful on its own. It's messy, it's chaotic, it is full of noise. It needs to be refined before it can actually power any decisions or new ideas. And that refining process, that is the data scientist's journey.
So, where does this whole journey of refinement even begin? Well, it's not with guesswork. It starts with a roadmap, a structured framework that guides the entire process from start to finish. Yeah, data science isn't some kind of mystical art, it's a really disciplined process. A common framework they use is called the PPDAC cycle: problem, plan, data, analysis, and conclusion. This structure makes sure that every single thing you do is tied directly to solving a real, actual problem. Now, within this cycle, it's often said that a staggering 80% of an analyst's time is just spent cleaning and preparing the data. This whole process is called data wrangling, and this is where the real heavy lifting happens. I mean, think about it. You're trying to merge two customer lists. One uses CA for California, and the other spells it out. To a computer, those are completely different things. Fixing thousands of these tiny little inconsistencies is what data wrangling's all about. The entire goal of all that data wrangling is to achieve this transformation, to turn raw, messy data into something called tidy data. And tidy data has this really simple but powerful structure. Every column is one variable, and every row is just a single observation. To get there, analysts use specialized tools like Python's Pandas library or R's tidyverse to programmatically clean and reshape the data until it's perfectly structured for analysis. Okay, so once the data is clean and tidy, we finally arrive at the moment of truth, the analysis. This is where we start to actually uncover the answers, and it usually goes down one of two very distinct paths.
So you can either try to explain the past with statistical models, which helps you get to the why behind what happened, or you can aim to predict the future with machine learning, forecasting what's likely to happen next. The first path gives you understanding, the second gives you a glimpse into the future. And the path you choose? It depends entirely on the question you decided to ask way back in step one.
But there is a huge pitfall on this journey, a classic nemesis for any analyst, really. It's called overfitting. This is when your model gets a little too smart for its own good. It's kind of like a student who just memorizes the exact answers for a practice test, but doesn't actually learn the concepts. So when they face the real exam, they fail. An overfit model looks perfect on paper, but is totally useless when it sees new real-world data.
This brings us to the final part of the journey. And you know, it's perhaps the most human part of all. You've cleaned the data, you've built a model, you found an insight. But the job isn't over until you can actually communicate that insight to other people.
The source material gives us this fantastic Japanese phrase, mireba wakaru watsuyo shinai. It basically translates to, just look at it is not enough. A chart, a number, or a model all by itself is pretty much meaningless. It needs a story. It needs context.
And it is so easy to get this wrong. I mean, just take a look at this 3D bar chart. The perspective totally distorts the bars, right? It makes these tiny, insignificant changes look like massive shifts in business. This doesn't inform people. It misleads them.
In contrast, a good visualization, it tells an honest story. And it does this with just a few simple rules. It has a clear purpose. It avoids distracting decorations like those 3D effects. It uses clear labels. And most importantly, it keeps the perspective honest. For example, by always starting the y-axis at 0 to show the true proportions.
So ultimately, an analyst's final job is to be a storyteller. It's not enough to just present what you found. You have to weave those findings into a narrative that connects all the way back to the original question. The goal is always to empower a better decision with a conclusion someone can actually act on.
This leaves us with a final and, I think, pretty thought-provoking question. We're building these incredible AIs that can automate all the number crunching, the cleaning, the modeling. So as AI gets better and better, what skill is left that's uniquely human? Well, it's not really one skill, but three. It's the wisdom to ask the right questions in the first place. It's the judgment to interpret the results in a real-world, human context. And finally, it's the ability to tell a story that doesn't just present the facts, but inspires action. That right there is the true purpose of the data science's journey.